Greetings, Algo artisans. Back in business. It is Monday, 8:30 a.m. EST. The Cowboy here. And it turned out that I got some kind of bug. My kid brought it home, and the Guerilla got a bug all the way across the country at the same time. That's actually kind of convenient. So that way we're both, taking the time off. I am back today, though. I missed Friday, and I pretty much slept a lot of the weekend where I was, dealing with the house or helping out with this, that, and the other, kids, so on and so forth. So not a lot got done over the weekend with work, aside from just kind of keeping an eye on things, right? Just keeping an eye on things from afar, making sure things were not acting too crazy. We're at the point in the market where things are equalizing after that whole, Japanese yen unwind, rewind situation, right? The whole market freaked out. The next day they came back and said, okay, we're putting the carry trade back on. And then everybody said, okay, maybe it's all going to be all right. And everything kind of reversed, especially with crypto, things reversed right back. And so, what really happened in the end was that a lot of people who were panicking sold the bottom. And people who are in the Algo Factory saw through our data that there's a decent chance that Bitcoin price was going to pop right back up. And that's exactly what it did. You can see it right here on the charts. If you look here on the daily, Bitcoin, everybody panicked. A lot of people sold the bottom. And of course, the rest of crypto followed along with that travesty. A lot of people sold the bottom right here. And then it popped all the way back up. I'm going to guess about 50% of its drop. Let's see here. Actually, it came back up and touched the 60, basically the 618. So it popped up to about 65% of what it fell. And that happened within a few days. Definitely within like a week. We were back by Thursday. Especially if you look at Bitcoin, within this major consolidation that we've been following since March, right? This post-halving price goes sideways for a while. And remember, just in case you're kind of new to watching crypto, new to the whole 4-year cycle thing, every 4 years, Bitcoin goes through the same cycle. So far, it's gone through 4 of them, and it's behaved the same way every time with minor differences. And in the end, what it is that Bitcoin will rise up in the first part of that year. And as it does that, it will hit a peak and it'll come back down for a few months, and then it'll rise up again for the next 6 months to a year or so. And we're looking at what might be the beginning of that move back up, right? And as soon as price breaks its all-time high, which was about $74,000, then, we're still in that pullback period. And I'm thinking that's going to happen either this month or next. This move down, the shakeout towards the bottom, what we knew at Algo Factory, because V does crypto deals around the world in a big way, was that nobody that he knows that were very large traders were selling in any amount of number, in any size. None of the institutionals were selling in any size at this low. In fact, they were mostly buying. By the time price got down here, he was filling a lot of buy orders. So that should tell you what the smart money was doing. And of course, you want to do what the smart money does, right? Now, big money is not always smart money, but generally big money is going to have a better idea of what's going on. And you'll have to excuse my voice. It's just what happens when you're recovering from whatever. All right, so we got a request in the chat from Jay asking about gold. And he wants a long up to 2,600. So let's take a look at gold. Yeah, well, it's certainly looking pretty strong. It's got some hurdles to overcome, right? So if you look at gold and you go back through time here, the historical charts, you'll see that there's a breakout of this multi-year consolidation go back to 2020, right? And we talked about this well before it happened. We talked about it as it was happening, and we talked about what was going to happen, and we've been pretty much correct on the high time frame the whole time at Algo Factory. And V and I've been talking about this since like 2017. So what we're looking at is a move up, consolidation, and then at some point we're going to see price move up again, right? So what I'm going to do is impose a Fibonacci tool on this large impulse up. This first impulse up that took us out of the major consolidation. And this is going to give us some short-term targets. And, price is, of course, it's the summertime and there are crazy things in the market. So price hasn't been able to really break out of this current consolidation. It's tried a couple times and failed, but it keeps getting closer and closer. And I do see a nice target short term at about 25.50. Right. And that's based on this fib. Now there's a higher time frame Fibonacci that I like at about 2600, right? We already pretty much hit, and we're about to hit 2500, which is another older target. But what I'm looking at here, and the reason I like this breakout, and I haven't looked at the algos yet, but just price action wise, you can see that the lows are getting higher. You can see this. So every time price breaks down, it goes back into this consolidation, this this range that it was in before, and it keeps making higher lows. And then it will get rejected at the same high. So the bears defend the same number each time, but the bulls are getting stronger each time at the bottom. So effectively, this is creating what looks like a bullish ascending triangle. So we can also take a look at those metrics and see what kind of targets those might yield. Right now, though, based on what I'm seeing, I like 2550 a little bit more than I like 2600. But high time frame, 2600 has always been one of my targets. Would I open up a trade with a target all the way up there? That's kind of another question, though, right? I at this point, I think that eventually is going to be a winning trade. Eventually, but it's kind of such a high time frame trade, and so many things can happen between now and then in the world as it is right now, that's a bit risky. I would look for a breakout above this top of this triangle that I just drew. So let's zoom ourselves in a little bit. And I'm going to make this a little more visible. So that, let's make this even more visible here. So that yellow triangle that I just drew, I would look for a breakout above that top. Let me straighten this out to my liking here. More or less like that. And then I would develop some Fibonacci targets based on the lowest contact to the highest contact. And again, we're sitting at about 2550. That's another support for and I mean support like theoretical support, not like a structural. This is another, evidence for a 2550 target. Yet another one, right? Using a different Fibonacci tool than we used from before, even shorter term look. So I wouldn't, if I were too long, I probably would wait for gold to break above 2475 and even try to break above this prior high that was actually at 2483. And then I might look for an entry around there and long up to there. Because right now you're fighting against these tops here that are around 2475, 2483. There's a really good chance those will get rejected. So if you enter that now, then you're risking price bouncing and heading down. Now, of course, price could break out, right? But if you wait for that breakout, then it's broken out. And unless it's a fake out, then you have a much better chance of getting a good trade right here. So that's how I'd run gold. All right, good. Well, we got a couple comments. Nikki, am I a six-figure trader? Nikki, let's just say that I've been trading for a long time. Random question, Nikki, but do you know how many futures traders are there in the world? Nikki, you have some really strange questions, and they're not really functional. The questions you should be asking are going to be something like, hey, how do I start to learn how to trade? Or, hey, how much money do I need to learn how to trade? You should probably ask questions that pertain to you, not as much as the rest of the world. So if you do have more questions like that, those are questions that I can answer, then feel free to ask them. All right, perfect. I look forward to seeing everybody on the next shows. And I do plan to be back tomorrow. I'm getting better every day. So, I'm obviously okay to work today. As soon as the show's done, I'm going to flop and go right back to sleep probably. But at least we got this done today. So I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of flipping over to the private live lab over on Telegram. However, we do love you all. Thank you for coming to this, Algo Factory Free to the Public Live Lab. Do yourselves a favor, go to algofactory.tech or click that QR code on the top right-hand side of the screen, or zap it, as it were, with your phone camera. It's going to take you to our website. You can see what we do. We help people become traders. We help you develop algorithms. And should you go ahead and find a coder and get those coded, it's even possible to have those trade for you while you're not even at the computer. That's a path that we can help put you on. So come to algofactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life, and we will see you on the next one.
Join us or die.